by the serene lake, she realized she had a duty to fulfill as the princess. Determined, she vowed to save her mentor under the cover of darkness without causing harm to anyone. Frantically, Rose awakened Sori and urgently beckoned him outside. As he looked ahead, his eyes widened at the sight of a colossal tornado heading towards Alicia's city. Sori instinctively knew that Alicia was in grave danger and hastily prepared to depart early in order to help. As Alicia infiltrated the castle, she came face to face with the guards. But without hesitation, she and her brave comrades swiftly broke through their defenses. Meanwhile, Sori and the others followed the tornado, desperately trying to catch up with its incredible speed as it raced towards the city. However, as the Lord anxiously waited for Alicia to save her mentor, he began to realize that time was running out. Alicia was not coming to him. In a moment of realization, Sori knew that he had to purify the tornado. He could sense the immense malevolence within the person controlling it. Some individuals could withstand and suppress such darkness, while others would succumb to its power. Sori could even make out the monstrous shape lurking within the tornado, a fearsome beast. Dragons had always proven impossible to purify, as nobody had dared to take on the challenge. But now, Sori had no choice. He had to face the beast head-on, even if it meant risking his own life to fulfill his dreams. As Layla witnessed Sori's determination, she couldn't help but feel a surge of joy. As Alicia ventured through the castle, she encountered numerous challenges along the way. Despite these obstacles, she persevered and eventually reached her father's chambers. Alicia had come to personally plead with her father to end the ongoing conflict, hoping to put an end to the malevolent feelings that were wreaking havoc on the land. As she approached her father, she couldn't shake off a sense of impending danger. Alicia's intuition warned her of an approaching dragon. However, before she could address her concerns, the Lord abruptly burst into the chambers, accusing Alicia of treachery and even attempting to assassinate the king. Alicia, not wanting to engage in a fight, found herself cornered by the Lord's threatening sword. Just as the situation seemed dire, the king bravely intervened, sacrificing himself to save Alicia's life. However, the Lord remained relentless, determined to turn the people against her. But his sinister motives were soon exposed when his true form was unveiled to his own men. It became clear that he was responsible for the king's murder. With nowhere to hide, the Lord leapt off the castle roof, his facade shattered. Alicia witnessed an extraordinary sight, but she felt powerless to act. Suddenly, a tornado appeared, only to disperse and reveal a fearsome fire-breathing dragon. In that moment, she heard Sori's voice calling out to her, asking for her assistance as his squire. The Seraphs were valiantly battling the malevolent creatures known as Hellions, but Sori needed to purify the dragon. This was an unprecedented feat, and the world held its breath, waiting for a myth to be shattered. Nicleo skillfully brought the dragon down, and Sori turned to Rose for help. As Sori focused on purifying the beast, Rose struggled under the weight of the burden. Nonetheless, Sori was filled with joy to see her determination. When Rose finally collapsed, Princess Alicia rushed to her aid. Alicia bravely asked Sori to transfer the malevolence to her, despite the immense difficulty. Together, they persevered, standing steadfastly behind Sori. With one final surge of determination, Sori successfully purified the dragon. The impossible had been achieved. However, before they could revel in their victory, a messenger arrived with grave news. The Lord of Calamity was poised to engulf the world in malevolence. After the purification, Rose and Alicia were rushed to the hospital, but they remained unconscious for 9 long days. Their bodies had endured immense strain. Sori sensed their struggle and informed the Seraphs that they had finally awakened. Alicia was told about the people's heartfelt desire to see her recover fully. Both Rose and Alicia were ready to face the challenge once more, if necessary, in order to save the world. Meanwhile, Dezel engaged in a fierce battle against Simon, the aide of the Lord of Calamity. Sori discovered this and pleaded with Dezel to stop, but Dezel was determined to uncover the truth. Simon revealed to them that the Lord of Calamity would stop at nothing to bring about the end of the world. She led Sori and the others to the place where the Lord resided, surrounded by people consumed by malevolence. The growing malevolence in the north threatened to spread to other parts of the world. Overwhelmed with these daunting prospects, Sori collapsed to the ground. Simon warned them once more before vanishing into thin air. Sori was determined to head north, and to his surprise, the Seraphs eagerly agreed to join him on his quest. Layla, a trusted ally, revealed that the book Sori had been relying on was actually left behind by the former shepherd. Layla handed him another book, The Celestial Records, containing the coveted secrets of the world that Michael had relentlessly pursued. As Sori began to read, he uncovered the beginnings of the Age of Calamity, as foretold by the Emperor. Just as Sori was preparing for his journey, Alicia approached him with a resolute determination to accompany him. Despite the responsibility of rebuilding her city, Alicia entrusted her mentor to oversee the task while she embarked on this important mission. Together, Sori and Alicia set off on their adventure, and along the way, they were aided by kind-hearted individuals who were eager to support the young shepherd. During the dark and treacherous nights, Sori would tirelessly train to become stronger. As their journey progressed, the brave general and wise leader also joined their mission. The odds were heavily stacked against Sori, but they knew they had to give it their all to defeat the formidable Lord of Calamity. Rose and Alicia, as the dedicated squires, were tasked with testing their armatization. This powerful form allowed humans and seraphs to combine their strength in combat. It was the shepherd's trump card, but it came with great risks for the squires. However, Dezel was determined to explore every avenue to grow stronger before facing the Lord of Calamity. As they ventured into the realm of armatization, both Rose and Alicia were overwhelmed by an immense fatigue. The seraphs, watching over them, had to transform entirely into weapons, while the squires served as the gun battery. During the journey, Dezel anxiously asked Simon if she had betrayed the Lord in order to warn them. The Lord was unstoppable, and he would stop at nothing to achieve his goals. Rose and Alicia were still training hard to master the art of armatization. They had to envision the weapon and find the perfect balance to succeed, but it was proving to be quite a challenge. Despite the difficulty, they refused to give up. After reading the second celestial records, Sori discovered a remarkable power that could create entire worlds. Its source, known as the Wellspring, lay in the north. This power connected the world through earth pulses, which maintained the delicate balance of our existence. However, when these earth pulses collapsed, it brought about the dreaded Age of Calamity. Sori concluded that this may be why the Lord of Calamity resided in the north. As they rested during the night, Sori was abruptly awoken by the piercing screams of Rose. Startled, he quickly rose from his slumber only to discover malevolent creatures pouring out from the other side of the mountain. With ease, Mikleo purified them, prompting Sori to command everyone to swiftly traverse the mountain. Moving forward, the fog grew thicker, obscuring their vision and forcing them to stay close together. The malevolence in the air posed a dangerous threat to them all. Suddenly, a clearing revealed a breathtaking sight, a multitude of tainted dragons soaring through the sky. These were once noble seraphim, corrupted by darkness. Sori knew he had to purify them all, a task that indicated the presence of the dreaded Lord of Calamity. The seraphim rallied alongside Sori, lending their aid in the purification efforts. Inspired by their bravery, Rose requested Dezel to armatize her, successfully merging their powers. Alicia, too, yearned to partake in this extraordinary fusion and, to her delight, she succeeded. Together, they joined Sori in his mission to purify the tainted dragons and vanquish the impending threat. Simon reappeared, wreaking havoc by destroying one of the carriages. She demanded answers from the Lord, who obliged. Inquiring about the shepherd's whereabouts, the Lord of Calamity requested Simon to sacrifice herself to the malevolence. Surprisingly, she willingly embraced this fate, transforming into a furious dragon. As Sori witnessed the Lord of Calamity's presence before him, he learned of the Lord's intention to descend to the depths of the earth and celebrate the malevolence. And just like that, the Lord vanished into thin air. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Sori commanded everyone to pursue the Lord. Meanwhile, Rose, who had acted as a vessel for Dezel, collapsed, her body convulsing. Determined to aid her recovery, Sori employed his healing protection. As for Dezel, he longed to confront the dragons and purify them, striving to fulfill Rose's wish for an ideal world. Dezel seized Zabade's gun, recognizing it as the ultimate weapon for purification. The group arrived in a northern town, seeking refuge from the blizzard, and hoping to uncover the earth pulse beyond. Sori, driven by curiosity, approached Layla and inquired about the Innominate and the Five Lords, wondering if they held the highest rank among the Seraphim. The Earth Pulse Point stood as a prominent temple, drawing no coincidence that the Lord of Calamity lurked there. Sori understood that to bring an end to the ceaseless warfare and malevolent sentiments, they must learn from the past. Rose accidentally overheard Dezel's plan to leave her in the town for further recovery, but her determination to aid the shepherd and purify the world remained unwavering. She would willingly armatize, if necessary. In the dream, Sori saw a mysterious woman guiding him towards the path he believed in. When he awoke, the blood moon filled the sky, and he instantly recognized who it represented. It was a sign that it was time to move forward, to face the challenges ahead. The Seraphim, the Shepherd, and the Squires were granted permission to venture beyond this point, as it was a difficult path for humans to tread. Sori was overjoyed to discover that humans and Seraphim could coexist in perfect harmony. Together, they would reclaim the world from the clutches of the Lord of Calamity, and restore peace to all. As they continued their journey, they encountered a treacherous path tainted by malevolence, and to their surprise, they found themselves surrounded by mighty dragons. Among them stood Simon, a powerful adversary. Dezel, filled with determination, stepped forward to assist Sori in purifying the dragons. However, Sori, knowing the danger that awaited him, halted Dezel's advance. He understood that it was not safe for his dear friend to face this perilous task alone. Realizing that Sori alone couldn't purify every single dragon, the other seraphim joined forces to aid Dezel in his purifying efforts. Together, they would overcome the malevolence and triumph over the darkness that threatened their world. Dezel used his incredible power over the wind to scatter the ferocious dragons blocking their path. Together, Dezel and Rose joined forces and transformed into a powerful duo. They soared through the air, heading straight for the center dragon. Despite their valiant efforts to fend off the attacks, Rose could feel herself growing weaker with each passing moment. With determination in her eyes, Rose pushed forward and finally reached the heart of the chaos. It was then that Dezel made a difficult decision. He knew that in order to save everyone, he had to sacrifice himself by becoming the very wind that would purify the dragons. Rose couldn't argue with his noble sacrifice, understanding that it was for the greater good. Reluctantly, she parted ways with Dezel and watched as he unleashed his purification upon the dragons, including Simon. The display of immense power amazed Sori and the others, filling them with pride. Although Dezel was no longer physically present, he visited Rose in her mind, urging her to share with Sori that sometimes sacrifices must be made to create a better world. Grateful for Dezel's selflessness, Rose pledged to fulfill their fallen comrades' dreams. After Dezel vanished from the world, Rose approached Sori and delivered a firm slap, urging him to learn from the past and honor Dezel's sacrifice. Determined to press forward, they ventured into a cave where an overwhelming surge of power coursed through the ground. Sori sensed the presence of the Lord of Calamity, not just malevolence. Suddenly, the ground trembled, and the cave began to crumble, but Zavade swiftly enveloped them with a protective barrier, signifying the awakening of the Five Lords. Time was of the essence. Meanwhile, the Lord of Calamity had captured the leader of the Five Lords, preventing them from intervening in the impending battle. Undeterred, Sori and the others finally reached the throne of the Lord of Calamity, only to find the leader transformed into a fearsome dragon. The Lord explained that this transformation was a result of conflicting forces, and the only way to dismantle these contradictions was through sheer power. He dared the shepherd to settle it once and for all. Sori assumed his form and bravely approached the Lord, determined to cleanse him. But much to his surprise, the Lord thwarted his every effort. Suddenly, Sori found himself standing in an expansive field, facing Master Michael, the former shepherd. They had been transported back to the original village, deep within the Lord of Calamity's memories. In a twist of fate, Michael and Heldalf, the Lord of Calamity, had once been friends. Michael harbored a dream of uniting humans and seraphim in a peaceful village, and he had asked Heldalf for his assistance. However, their dreams were shattered when a devastating war erupted, with Heldalf at the center of the chaos. The shepherd confronted him, questioning how he could have allowed such destruction. Betrayed, Michael learned from the leader of the Five Lords that she was consumed by darkness, and only the future Lady of the Lake held the power to purify her. Witnessing the devastation caused by Heldalf, Michael cursed him to an eternity of solitary existence. In a tense moment, Sori witnessed Michael's ultimate sacrifice as he gave his life to curse Heldalf. The malevolence that initially took root in Heldalf's heart grew over time, unleashing an age of calamity. Now, Sori stood as the last hope to purify Heldalf and restore peace. The Lord understood that Heldalf's loneliness had pushed him beyond redemption, yet the Seraphs reminded Sori of the importance of mutual support among people. However, Heldalf rejected this notion, his appearance distorted by an eternal curse and the ever-growing malevolence. As Sori launched his attack, he was forcefully thrown back, realizing that he couldn't purify Heldalf alone. But then, a brilliant idea struck him. He would combine the powers of all the elemental seraphs. Zavade, the wind seraph, also entered into a contract with Sori. Now, as the shepherd, Sori possessed the extraordinary power of all the elements at his disposal. With each seraph's power merging into him, Sori reached his ultimate form, ready to face Heldalf head-on. Episode 13. Even though combining with everyone's powers was too dangerous for Sori, he refused to give up. The Lord of Calamity grew even larger, making all of Sori's attacks ineffective as Heldalf blocked them effortlessly. Sori remained determined to purify Heldalf from the curse that consumed him. The squires urged Sori to transfer the malevolence to them, despite the immense burden it placed on them. With a powerful strike, Sori managed to purify the Lord of Calamity, completely eradicating the malevolence. However, Heldalf did not transform into a human as hoped. Suddenly, malevolence erupted from the earth, pouring into the empty vessel of the Lord of Calamity. Heldalf became even stronger, fueled by an unlimited reserve of malevolence. The world trembled in fear, as everyone worried it would be consumed by the malevolence. But Sori refused to surrender. He resolved to seal Heldalf even deeper than the Earth Pulse itself. In a daring plan, Sori chose to accompany Heldalf, using the time to calm his anger and attempt to purify him. The stakes were high, but Sori's determination remained unwavering. It was the only way for Sori to go, and the others would spread the word. With one final armatization, Sori bravely pushed the Lord of Calamity into the fiery lava and deep underground. He believed in a world where seraphim and humans could coexist peacefully. As everyone gathered in the Somber Cave, the leader of the Five Lords shared the uplifting news of the new path that the Earth was embarking on. Mikleo urged them not to succumb to sadness but to carry on the duty left by Sori and create a beautiful world. Alicia, filled with grace and determination, ascended to the throne as the Queen of Ladylake. The Emperor of Rollins visited her city, marking the beginning of a new era of cooperation between humans and seraphim. The humans started offering their devotion to the seraphim, fostering a harmonious existence between the two. Malevolence was now at a reasonable rate, ensuring a safer world for all. Rose continued to lead the Shatterbones and flourish in her role as a successful trader. Meanwhile, Mikleo tirelessly searched for ancient ruins, hopeful that he would be there when Sori awoke. Years later, as Mikleo continued his travels, he suddenly heard Sori's voice. Intrigued, Mikleo followed the sound, which led him straight to his long-lost friend. Heldalf, once consumed by darkness, had now been purified and was eager to begin anew. Meanwhile, Sori desired to return to his hometown and reunite with his beloved grandpa. As they journeyed together, Sori was overjoyed to witness the world restored to its breathtaking beauty. Watch this next video. See you on the next one.